Well, good evening, everyone. Happy St. Patrick's Day. As you can see, I got the garb on, and I am fittingly going to be reviewing Irish whiskey. Today is the first review in the pub that is now in place. All I need left here in the basement is decor on the wall. Other than that, we are fully operational. So what I wanted to quickly first do, because we're going to be spending some time together here over the next several months and hopefully years, and I promised you that there will be more to look at on these walls, like I said, moving forward. But I couldn't resist not doing a review for that long, so I wanted to. And it being St. Patrick's Day, we had to jump into some Irish whiskey. Anyways, yeah, let's do a quick review. So I want to kind of take you guys kind of with me for a second. Here is kind of the basic setup of the bar. Here's come some of my good friends that you've got a chance to meet over the months, and there's kind of everything nicely organized. I am waiting on some shelving to put all of the spirits. Down here is where I keep my spices and mixers and things like that. Nice little mini fridge stocked full of adult beverages. Down here is where I'm keeping my glasses. Snifters, Glencairns, tumblers, martinis, absinthe glasses, shot glasses, you name it. Vodkas are down there on the floor for the time being because, honestly, I don't know. You know my thoughts about vodka. And then I also have some of my Crown up here in a home, the XO, the Limited, some of my higher end stuff down here. My favorite of all time, Crown Royal Cask number 16. And here's a view of the bar from the exterior. So we did a real cool slate look with an actual copper top. And there's my stools. So let me put you back. We'll jump right into this review. Coming around. Wait a second. I'll be there in a second. Coming. I'm hustling. Okay. Anyways, so like I said, guys, it is St. Patrick's Day, and I couldn't help resist. Irish whiskey. It's one of my very, very favorite spirits. And with its recent boom, especially here in the U.S. market, I felt like it was an appropriate one to do on a day like this. I mentioned a boom. So in the last 10 years, there's been over a 400% growth in the U.S. market in the Irish whiskey category. That is more than any other spirit, more than any other whiskey. Over bourbon, over Scotch. Last year alone, numbers range from 18 to 22% growth. Again, the highest in any category of spirits. So, for whatever reason, Irish whiskey is really booming, and I hope to kind of touch on a few of those today. Irish whiskey basically comes in three types. A blend, a pot still, and a single malt. And we are going to touch on a little bit of all those today. And as I usually do, well, actually not as much lately, but usually I taste things. I'm going to taste one at the end, and I'm not even sure which one. We'll kind of see what sounds good as we begin. But I'm just going to kind of walk through some whiskeys, give you guys kind of we did a very, very basic Irish whiskey review before, where I think we just did a Bushmills, we did a Tullamore Dew, we did Jameson's 12-year, and Kilbeggan and Powers, I believe. So today we're going to talk about those as well as some others in my collection. I do have Green Spot, but it's not being reviewed today. And I have recently ordered a Connemara. I have never tasted the Connemara, and that actually brings me to my next point. So Irish whiskey, why the boom in popularity? So, in my opinion, it comes down to approachability and smoothness. Here in the States, outside of a a group of the Scotch and bourbon lovers, most of us like a smooth, sometimes sweet, velvety, again, approachable spirit. And Irish whiskey is just that. The real difference between an Irish whiskey and a Scotch is a Scotch is distilled twice. An Irish whiskey is distilled 3 times. That allows the, again, the smoothness and the drinkability factor to be increased a bit, at least in my opinion. So let's just kind of start on the beginning of the scale, and let's talk about a few of the blend-ins. And I'll just be kind of turning around and until we kind of get an idea of the best format and how this is going to work. I'm just going to do this for tonight. Tullamore Dew, one of my very, very favorite Irish whiskeys. We reviewed this before in the past. I'm not going to beat this with like a dead horse, but one of my very, very favorite Irish whiskey. It's a blend. It's absolutely delicious. It's affordable. It's velvety smooth, and you can find it almost anywhere. Highly, highly recommend it. Bushmills. Of the big 3, the baseline Bushmills is probably my least favorite. It's got a little bit of tartness, a little bit of bitterness. Doesn't necessarily agree with me. But again, that's a personal thing, and that's what's fun about whiskey tasting. We all have our own likenesses. Powers. This is a smaller label. You don't see quite as much. But we reviewed this too, so I'm not going to get this a deep review as well. Kilbeggan, another smaller label that's starting to make a comeback. And on that note, quick sidebar. I mentioned the growth, the exponential growth in the category. Because of this, there are several facilities actually being built, new distilleries in Ireland, because of the numbers are just, quite frankly, exponentially growing in terms of exports, specifically here to the States. So the demand is there, and they're going to build facilities to meet those demands. So that's going to be interesting. Oftentimes, when new facilities are built, purists and with growth sometimes comes conglomeration. With that, oftentimes quality is overlooked a bit. So that'll be interesting to see if, because of the boom in Irish whiskey, if on some of the labels, quality does suffer. That is TBA, but it'll be something to keep your eye out on. I mentioned the double distilled opposed to the triple distilled. Scotch being double, Irish being triple. In my opinion, what that extra distillation process does is it removes that overtone of earthiness and smokiness that runs through Scotches. The only Irish whiskey that I've read about that is similar to those Scotches is the Connemara that I'm actually waiting on. I've yet to taste it, but other than that, there is a pretty distinct difference between an Irish and a Scotch, if you have any sort of palate at all. Let's jump right back into it. Jameson Black Barrel. This is a newer label here in the States. In my opinion, this was kind of Jameson's answer to Bushmills Black Bush. So all the black is referring to is they, I think in Jameson's case, they basically are stored in like extra charred casks. I think they used, I read this somewhere. I don't think it's on the bottle. I think I read it online. I think Jameson Black Barrel, they're using wild turkey, ex-wild turkey bourbon casks that are extremely charred, and they impart a lot of flavor in the product. So, interesting. Next product. I mentioned 3 types. We've been looking at just blends so far. Here's our first single malt. This is Bushmills 10-year. Very nice packaging, nice little story there. We then move up to Jameson 12-year Special Reserve. This is the one I tasted for you guys last time we got together and talked about Irish whiskey. And as you can kind of see, I'm moving from baseline to more top shelf. Another sidebar. Speaking of, so top shelf Irish whiskey is really specifically in the field what's really, really growing. And so distillers are seeing the popularity increasing. So they're pumping out more and more top end Irish whiskey. Whether they justify the price point is debatable, but you're starting to see those become more common. They used to just be blends, distillates, stuff for Irish coffee. Now it's becoming a much more respected subcategory. So with that comes dollar bills. So next one. I just decided something. This is what we're going to taste. This, outside of Crown Royal Cask Number 16, I would say this is my favorite spirit. This is another single malt. It is absolutely delicious, and we're going to taste this one. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this right here. Redbreast 12-year. Redbreast, cool story about this. So they're actually named after the redbreast robin that stayed in Ireland over the winters when everyone else was, all the other birds were leaving. Well, they have a nice, strong, powerful flavor. So they decided to name the company Redbreast because when all the other Irish whiskeys were moving into, less aggressive, more of a diluted taste, they were sticking with their bold thing that they do best. And that's where their name came from. I thought that was kind of cool. But they also have a 15, an 18, and I think, and a 21. Price point wise, this one we're looking at about $55. On the top end, the 21 I think is closer to $150. So, and while we're on price point, in case you're curious, the Jameson 12 years in the $40-$45 range. Same with the Bushmills 10. The Bushmills Black Bush and the Jameson Black Barrel are in $35. Kilbeggan's Powers, Bushmills Tullamore Dew, those are all around $20. Okay. The Tullamore Dew single malt is about a $50 bottle. And again, we're gradually moving up price point wise. Tullamore Dew Phoenix. Now, the cool thing about Tullamore Dew is, if you can see, they've changed their packaging, and they've increased, in my opinion, the quality of their look. These new bottles, the new higher end bottles of their stuff, actually comes in like really nice boxes, really nice presentations. This one's actually a, what do they call it? A high strength, triple distilled. It's a non-filter, okay? And this one's 55% alcohol or 110 proof, so this one packs a little bit of wallop. This was named after, they had a blimp that burnt down in Tullamore, and the city basically burnt to the ground with it. And the city built itself back up like a phoenix. That's the name. Kind of cool. You have to try this, by the way. Still moving up the scale. This is the second to highest end Jameson. This is the Gold Reserve. This is also a blend, but a very, very high blend. Kind of the creme de la creme of Jameson. The next step up is actually what they call their vintage. And at that point, you're looking at least $300. This one's about a $95 bottle. Again, yet to try this one. And last but not least, Bushmills 1608. I'm going to go ahead and open this. By the way, presentation-wise, I know I've done a review on presentations. This is one of the most beautiful. Awesome box. Nice little hard plastic wrapping. And if you see, it kind of pulls out really nicely. And then once you have it pulled out, you still have this little casing in it. It's really, really nice. Really, really nice bottle. What was I looking for? Oh yeah, they use a malt called a crystal malt. And apparently it's not something, if there are any, very, very few Irish whiskey producers are using at this point. But apparently, again, this is one I haven't tasted. It creates a very, very smooth taste. Almost a toffee, butterscotch, buttery, praline. I can't wait to try that one. It sounds like it's, very rich, nutty, earthy, ice cream type of flavor. So that'll be interesting. So on that note, one of my very, very favorites. This guy, and I think we've talked about this one before. This has a very, very almost citrusy flavor to it when you pour a dram. Almost, matter of fact, I think I got that from, I watched the Master Blender on their website do a quick review of this, and he calls it his pineapple whiskey. And I actually kind of agree with that. It's got an amazing, amazing taste. Oh, that brings me to my next point. All right, so I just opened the top on the bottle and poured a dram. Nice stuff, right? I told you this is my second favorite spirit. Over time, if I have an open bottle and I have, you can't really see, there you go, that much space, all of this is trapped oxygen pressing against my spirit, and it's going to start soaking up some of the personality of the spirit. And it's kind of going to give it a, for lack of a better word, a flat flavor. So I did some research and found a product called Private Reserve. This is a blend of 3 inert gases. I'll just read it right off the back here. What do they use? Pure nitrogen, carbon dioxide, and argon. It's actually designed for wine, but I take that back. It says you can use it with hard liquors as well. But this is all you do. If you can kind of see, yeah, you can kind of see that there. You kind of keep the cap right here, ready to go. You give it 1, 2. Oh, I didn't do the cap very well, so let me do another one. Quickly put your cap on, and it creates basically a pillow protecting your spirit from the environment. Kind of a cool thing. All right, guys, I very much appreciate you joining me. Sorry about the kind of the new format, but again, I'm just kind of feeling things out. Hope you enjoyed it. On that note, Sláinte. Glasses up. We will see you soon. Be safe. Buy this. If you like Irish whiskey, buy this and buy it quick. Thanks again, guys. See you soon.